Well, thank you everyone for joining us. My name is Josh. I'm the president-elect of the Pensacola chapter. I'm the marketing director at Council on Aging of West Florida. Sarah Whitfield is joining us today. She's with the Santa Rosa County PIO office. Is great at what she does, and she is the past president for our chapter. Kristin O'Bryan is VP of Networking for our chapter and also heads up marketing over at Habitat for Humanity. I'll be sort of leading the discussion today, making sure we get done in time. I do have to bail at about 12:55 because I have a virtual grant visit that I have to get on at 1 for money, so that's important. But before we get started, let's just go around the horn and briefly introduce ourselves. Ed, you want to start?
All right. Hey, my name's Ed, and I'm the student liaison of the FPRA chapter of Pensacola. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Kim?
Kim Stefansson. I'll change my name on here. I'm the public relations coordinator for Escambia County Public School District. So that's why I'm at home. We're all at home. And then right now I'm FPRA chapter president until August, as far as we know.
All right. Thank you. Jim, tell us about Niceville.
You might have to unmute yourself.
Let me unmute myself first. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
I'm sitting here with headphones on, just like Edward does, so I kind of look weird. So I'll let him be the headphone guy. I've got a small ad agency in Niceville, Florida. If you go to juststay.com or juststay.com, that would be me. I've been in the area since 1992. Deal with local folks and a few regional people.
Awesome, thank you.
Cool.
Brittany, if your toddler is behaving, are you there?
Yes, I have a second. Hi everyone, I am Brittany Sherwood. I'm the assistant director for strategic communications at the University of West Florida.
Thank you, Brittany. Looks like we just had someone named Josh, which is a great name, join. Josh, you want to introduce yourself? Oh. Got shy, got intimidated by me. Nadia Gardner, introduce yourself.
Hi, actually my name's Olivia Gardner. I let my sister use my Zoom, so the name's changed right now. But I'm a student at the University of West Florida, and I am actually a communications major.
Which campus, Olivia?
One more time?
Which campus are you on? Where do you go?
I'm at the main campus.
Okay, cool.
And Summer Dickens.
Hi, I'm Summer Dickens. I'm the marketing specialist at ProHealth Medical Clinic.
Awesome, thank you for joining us. And Laura, I appreciate you sort of facilitating all of this between us and the students. Our partnership with UWF is extremely important. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I want to keep everybody on time. Sarah, Kristin, and I guess Kim, this question is to you. What's the number one thing that you look for when picking interns or newly graduated applicants?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. We're actually looking for an intern for the summer, if you know anybody. What we look for right now is someone who has some strong graphics skills and writing, because we do a lot of social media. We manage about 16 social media platforms right now, and we need a lot of help with that, a lot of help with our animal shelters. So we want someone who has that strong writing skill and some graphics. We can kind of teach you the graphics. We use a lot of Canva, and Canva is very easy to use. So that's just something that can be learned. And if you come intern with us, we try to make sure you walk away with an awesome portfolio of work. We want to help you succeed. So come see us. You can find me on Facebook or message me something. My email address, I think, is on our chapter website, so you can do that too. And what was the other part of that question, Josh? I started rambling.
What do you look for when it comes picking either interns or newly graduated applicants?
Well, right now we are mostly looking for interns because we don't have the budget to hire a third person. We hope to be able to do that in about a year or so. It just kind of depends on right now on where our budget will be after all of what's going on. So it'll be interesting. But right now we are.
Can I just ask a question? All our internships have gone remotely for the summer. Are you willing to hire a remote intern for the summer?
Yeah, definitely. Our current student worker is working from home right now, and we just check in via a video chat 3 times a week. And so everything we do basically can be done online.
Okay, good.
Awesome. Kristin, how about you?
Hi. So we were looking for an intern. I don't know what we're doing right now, as everybody is. Like, I don't know what's going on. We don't. But as far as when we do look for interns, we want people that are motivated, that are self-starters. With working with a nonprofit, it's always busy. I'm sure that Josh and Sarah can tell you the same thing, that you have a lot of irons in the fire at one time. And so you get a lot of hands-on education when you're doing nonprofit. And then as far as when you come in for an interview or talk to you, one of the things we look at is your resume. Run it through Grammarly or have a couple of people look at it, because if there are spelling errors on it or anything like that, we're going to automatically say, because so much of what we do is communicating to the public, and that is one of our jobs, is to edit other people's stuff. So it's important that you want to edit your own resume and portfolios before you turn those in. If you have a portfolio of some examples of some things of experience that you have, you can do a virtual or a printed. Whenever I applied for this position I had both. And I walked in the interview with my portfolio that included a table of contents and my resume, as well as a little business card I created in one of my graphics classes. And so they were able to thumb through and ask me questions about specific materials, specific things that I have already done. So anything that you bring in that shows where you are and what your skill set is also very beneficial.
Awesome. Kim, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, actually, my one and only UWF intern, I've had some high school interns who've been great, and I've had one UWF intern who was just, a slacker and didn't do anything at all, never showed up, didn't stick around, and I'm lying totally because it was Kristin. And I think she felt like she got some worthwhile experience out of it. We'll promise that if you intern at the school district, and it would be fall, summer, I don't know what's going on. Hopefully sometime we'll know what's going on this fall. I thought I was going to try to get a real vacation this summer. Yeah. So I hadn't reached out to Laura because I didn't know what was going on this summer. My kids and I have been talking about going to Iceland for years this summer. And now, of course, this summer is completely up in the air. But anyway, if you intern for a position like mine, I'm a one-person shop, and I handle all of the good news in the school district and trying to help get the word out. It's going to be exciting. We're going to be working with ID Group on some marketing changes for the school district. So if someone wants to see what it's like to be a customer in that world and make contacts over in the ID Group world, it would be an outstanding semester to come and intern in our office. You would be writing, shooting pictures, editing video, getting things posted on our social media constantly, and our social media gets picked up by the local parent magazine, by North Escambia, by Channel 3. We work with local media. I mean, you can kind of do just about everything, except the only thing I don't do a lot of is the crisis side of it. Though right now we're all living in crisis communications every day, so there's different aspects of that. And why I say I don't usually do that, and then I might set up appointments, but our superintendent takes the lead on those things. So it's a lot of good, positive, a lot of projects that you can work on. Kristin had a project that she got to work on, and we turned it into image submissions, and she got some things to hang on her wall, so that was kind of fun. One other comment I would suggest on the portfolio, especially since you might be interviewing this way, do the electronic portfolio, but for older people who are going to be more tech savvy now than before, but are probably still more comfortable with actual paper. If you're really serious about something, I would say print it, make nice printed copies, and get them to whoever's coordinating the interview ahead of time. Maybe ask, may I get you, 4 paper copies to distribute to the committee members or something like that. And I say that because my own daughter went to an interview once, and she counted on her electronic portfolio, but some of the members of the committee were older and not so tech savvy, and so they hadn't even opened it or looked at it. And since she didn't walk in with the paper copy, they didn't have that mental image in their mind when she made reference to her portfolio, which some members of the committee did, others didn't, and I heard later that it hurt her. So keep in mind that whoever you're interviewing with, find out how old they are, how tech savvy they are, and if they're older than, I don't know, 40, 50, older than that, don't count on them being 100% tech savvy. Make sure you get them that paper product. Kristin, having her business card and her letterhead and all that, it was very, very classy and crisp and would communicate to a wider age range than you might expect. So just a tip. Can we find out who this other person is, this O'Neill Torres? I don't want to mispronounce your first name. Can you introduce yourself? Unmute your...
Oh, sorry, my mic's unmuted. My computer makes a little fan noise. I don't want to interrupt anything, but my name is Jager. I'm about to be a junior at UWF, and I'm a communications major.
Cool. Are you also main campus or over to the east?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are you on the main campus here in Pensacola?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, cool. All right.
All right, awesome. Next question, and I thought this was a really good question, and I don't personally know what I prefer, so I'm interested to hear y'all's feedback. Would you rather see a creative resume or a traditional one? Sarah?
For us, I don't know. I've never thought about that. I think we usually get more traditional resumes. We're not going to judge you and say, oh, you gave us a traditional resume, but if you bring us a creative one, bonus points. So yeah, we like that.
Awesome. Kristin?
I would say pretty close to what Sarah said. We traditionally get the traditional ones, but any kind of, even if you do like a mix, like it's more traditional layout, but you have your own header that has the logo you created or something like that that makes you stand out, that's kind of a happy medium. That's also really cool. Don't think you have to, if you're not a strong designer, I'm not, but I can do a logo. I can do minor things. Show off those skills and, use your resume to show off who you are. That's what it is about. But even more than that, the resume is what gets you into the door. What gets you the job is your interview. So be confident in what you are presenting. Be confident in the materials that you're bringing with you and your story and your experience, because that's going to be what really speaks the true volumes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We had a recent presentation for seniors in our workforce education academies, and the speaker that came in, oh gosh, the name of his organization will hit me. He's a great speaker, but anyway, one of the things he also told, and these were high school seniors trying to get internships and jobs, et cetera. So, 4 years younger than any of you guys, or at least a couple years younger than any of you guys. What he also stressed with all of his research was, all of that's going to get you the interview and it might get you the job. What's going to keep the job is going to be your attitude when you get there and your willingness to learn. And he said a lot of employers, they don't expect you to they don't expect you to come in and have every skill set needed by whoever they're going to hire, because they're planning to teach you a lot and they're planning to teach you in their mindset. But you need to go in with an attitude. I've been learning for all of these years. I'm still ready to learn. This is what I'm going to bring to the table. But I want you to know I'm walking in here totally open to learning how your organization does things. And I'm excited to be part of your team. And then actually don't just talk the talk. Go in there and, go in there with that open mind. Don't keep telling them, well, that's not how we did it in school. Because that's going to just alienate somebody. Instead say, oh, that's cool. That's a new way to do it. And then learn the new way to do it. That type of thing. But anyway, I'm rambling.
Now that I've had some time to think about that, I think that traditional is of course safe, and if you decide to go with a creative resume, I would just make sure that you are good at being creative, because it could quickly backfire. If you try to get fancy in Illustrator or InDesign and it doesn't look good, then that's going to be very counterproductive to what you're trying to do. So if you want to go with a creative resume, I would say go for it, but run it past a couple people. Sometimes we can be very partial to our own designs, to our own work, and make sure that the message you're trying to convey is successfully conveyed. We'd hate for it to backfire and it wind up a traditional resume would have been the best course of action for you. Where's the best place to create a portfolio? I know a lot of people use Canva. I've dabbled in Canva as well. Sarah, what do you think?
I feel so old now because I haven't had to create a portfolio in like 7 years. But if I had to, right now, I would probably choose Canva just because I work in it almost every single day right now, and it's what I'm most comfortable with. So definitely choose something that you are comfortable with. Don't try to try out a new program for this.
Yeah.
I had to do one for something here recently, actually, unrelated to all of this, but so I went back to, I used Word, basically found a newsletter template and then started changing it, but then incorporated photos that I had taken, obviously text that I had written, and Canva graphics that I had created because I knew the people that I was going to be meeting with who were going to review it and talk to me about it later on, that they were Canva people. So I made sure I had examples of that. So do your research, find out what the employer or does and uses, and see if you can do already what they use. Great. If not, just be upfront and say, I don't have access to that program, but using iPhoto or iMovie, this is what I have done. Because if you can master one program, then I think they'll realize that you can learn how to use whichever program they have bought. So.
Yeah, for sure. Kristin, what do you think?
Well, so I recently did a portfolio not that long ago. So the printed one I did in InDesign, just because it was a little bit easier to design. It's easier if things change, I can go back and change things quickly. And then I actually did a website as my portfolios because I had design examples. I also had some of the writings, different types of writing, speeches, things like that I had done at UWF, and I really wanted to showcase those as well, and I wanted it to be easy to navigate. So I actually created a website. You can do one free through WordPress, Squarespace. Those are both pretty easy to navigate, and they're easy to keep updated, and there's an easy link that you can share even via email. Say, hey, here's a link to my website that has all this information on there for me that you can take a look at. So I think the main thing you want to do is you want to make sure it's going to be easy to update, and you want to make it sure that it's easy for whoever you're interviewing or you're sending it to navigate and understand what's going on. Always, always, always include a table of contents, because if they're looking for something that's specific, like they want to know what your writing skills are, or if you've ever written a speech or anything like that, show them where to find it. A lot of people that you're interviewing with don't have a lot of time to take hours looking through your portfolio. But if you have a table of contents on there that says, hey, this is where you can find this example, it's so much easier for them to get exactly what they're looking for and can formulate any questions they may have for you beforehand.
Yeah.
Josh?
Yeah.
Can I just interrupt?
Sure, please.
I just wanted to let you know, all of you know, we do actually have a class that I've taught the last 2 semesters for the students. It's COM 4110, and the final project, one of the final projects for that class is actually making a portfolio. So all these suggestions are great. What I have done is suggested also Wix. And I don't know if you did a portfolio when you were in grad school, Josh, but I know Athena really likes Wix. and it's easy to set up your tabs and add the things that you've done throughout the entire 4 years that you've been in school. So that is actually the end product of a class that I teach. So anyone's interested in that, probably won't teach it for the next couple semesters though.
Yeah, and I would encourage people to continually be updating their portfolio because as you do more classwork and as you do more work, you're going to forget some of your favorite pieces just because you're going to be so busy. You're going to, forget some of the websites you designed or social media campaigns you pushed out. So, take 5 minutes every month to just add 1 or 2 things to your portfolio. Because in 4 years, when you need one, you may forget what you did 4 years ago. And I think that's incredibly important. Before we
Sorry, I just wanted to add something one more time about your portfolio, whether it's your website or it's printed. Have multiple people look at it and not the same type of people. So have maybe a couple of fellow students look at it, have a couple professors look at it, reach out to some of the people that are already in the field that you're wanting to get into. Say, hey, do you mind looking at my resume? Give me some edits, give me some tips. Because the more angles you can look at to get them, the better. I did that. I had several people. I had Kim look at it. I had Michelle look at it. I had somebody that I know that's a PR professional that's in Panama City look at it. So as many different people you can take to look at it and make sure that there's not any errors, run it through Grammarly and make sure it's right before you give it to anybody, because that is your first impression. So
yeah. I know we want to switch gears and talk a little about crisis communication and the role of PR during this whole thing. But while we're still talking about jobs and employment, I know I graduated into a recession. I graduated back during the recession a decade ago, which was a fun experience. And obviously now we're predicting at least some sort of economic recession or downturn. So I'm curious, Sarah, Kristin, what's the number one thing you would recommend to say someone graduating this summer? I mean, what are they supposed to do to try to find a job?
I know for me, I graduated in 2010 from UWF and there wasn't really a lot out there. And so I got a job that offered health insurance and stuck my foot in the door with Santa Rosa County government and slowly worked my way up to my current position as assistant PIO. But try not to be too hard on yourself and don't be disappointed if you don't land that dream job right off the bat, and make sure you keep your skills up. If you do want to go into the government side of communications, I would suggest hopping on FEMA's website and taking some of their free online training courses. I know if you're going to work for a local county government, you're going to need those anyways if you have to activate for a hurricane or other natural disaster or a pandemic. So do as much training, keep your skills up while you're looking for a job, and just don't get discouraged.
Yeah, definitely don't get discouraged because it's, I don't know, it might be rough out there. Kristin, what do you think?
So, I graduated last May, and I got a job like 2 weeks after graduation. I started my job at Pensacola Habitat, but I wanted to say I actually started that position, not in the position I'm in now. I started that as an event coordinator, and I was still really excited about it. I was still really positive about it, and I looked at it as an opportunity to show what I could do, what my skill sets are in that position, and how to make that position a better position. So the next person that comes behind me, they have bigger shoes to fill because I came through and showed all the different things that you can do with that position. And that's what led me to my current position, which is the Senior Communications Associate. So don't get discouraged if it's not a communications job and you have a communications degree. I still worked in the communications department as an event coordinator, but because I turned it from just a logistics, this is how you do an event, to, hey, let's set goals for this event and let's talk about social media stuff that we need to do. And hey, by the way, I really want to do something called Happy Friday, which is now a live Facebook show we do every Friday on our Facebook page that talks about who we are. All those things started turning into, okay, well, Kristin's going to do events and communications, to now Kristin jumped straight from event coordinator to senior communications associate. So taking the position you have and still showcasing and being positive and brainstorming and giving those ideas to your supervisor is always a positive thing to do. Just make sure when you do give those ideas that they are not like, hey, I just thought about this in the shower, but I haven't really thought it all the way through. Like, think about it from point A to point Z. What does this look like? How is this going to benefit the organization, using some of those skills that you learned in some of the classes? I know with some of the classes I took with Dr. Wise, and I also took some with Rick Scott. They trained us on doing a lot of that stuff. Think every step through and use those skills and show that you do have those skills, because that's gonna, it shows a lot of things. It shows you're passionate about what you do, and that you're not a kind of, I'm just here and I'm comfortable, I want to keep moving forward. And that gets people momentum to kind of push behind you and keep pushing you to move forward. So that would be my tip.
Yeah, those are great notes, Kristin. Thank you.
One other thing, if I could toss something else in there, and of course my first job was a while back, but when I came out of college, I actually went into the Navy. My goal in joining the Navy was to become a public affairs officer, because I had heard you could go to school to learn film, not realizing that it actually, the photographers weren't officers. It was actually an enlisted position. And to become a Navy public affairs officer, generally you have to do something else first, something operational, and then you come over and apply to get into the public affairs field, because it's a very small community within the entire Navy. But what you do then is a similar kind of thing. Even though I was an admin officer, I was a personnel officer, I was in charge of training, things like that. I also basically raised my hand and became the collateral duty public affairs officer through all of that. And we had a huge event fall into our laps. And luckily I was able to be the main coordinator for all of that, working with public affairs officers all around Norfolk and with flag officers, and got to be known. From there, got into a deputy public affairs job that wasn't an official PAO job again, but still it was public affairs, and started stair-stepping my way to changing career fields into public affairs. If Ed were on here, my husband, same thing. He started out as an intelligence officer in a helicopter squadron, then went to flight school. His 2020 vision wasn't really 2020 when he was up in the clouds. So he ended up falling back on his college degree, which was also in communications like mine. He became a public affairs officer, did a complete career that way, and then as a civilian GS public affairs specialist, had a whole second career on top of that. And until this recent recession, his retirement program was great. We just found out yesterday, took a huge hit with everything going on, but it's still pretty darn good. So there's also, government service is civilian government service, but also military government service. And if you're interested in adventure and travel and all of that, there are jobs, many jobs in the PR world where you're wearing a uniform or you're working for the government in civilian clothes. So those are also options with a lot of job security and retirement plans and benefits and medical, all that good stuff. So.
I would say that it's important to, and I'm sure this has been drilled into you by your professors, but it's important to network. It's important to know people in a town like this. I mean, yeah, if you don't know your employer or know someone who knows your employer, then they're probably going to go with someone they know. All else being equal, they're going to do business with someone they know, or they're at least acquainted with. So get plugged into FPRA. Get plugged into the chamber, get plugged into Rotary, get plugged into whatever you can.
UIP.
What's that?
Pensacola Young Professionals.
Yeah, UIP, that whole thing. And
yeah.
Start making connections for sure.
There's also a group, Powerful Women of the Gulf Coast, which has a lot of women who own their own businesses, who might be looking to hire someone who can do PR in addition to whatever else their company does. So yeah, there's lots of good folks in town to meet. And I think one of the good things about this crisis, sorry, Josh, is that hopefully employers are more aware now of how important it is to have a good communications team, or at least a good, strong person on their staff. That messaging is more important now and will be more important as we start to rebuild and come out of this.
Before we switch gears, is there any questions about job searching, about resumes, about internships, anything in that wheelhouse? Any questions you might have for us?
I have a quick question actually. You said the Powerful Woman of the Gulf Coast. How would somebody reach out to get involved or get their name out there to them?
Shoot me a message, or at the end of this, I can give you my phone number or something, and I'll be more than happy to get you connected with them.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Good question. Anybody else? All right. And if you do have any questions for us, you can always message the FPRA Pensacola chapter Facebook page or email us, and one of our board members will be happy to get back to you. So I want to sort of open it up to the general floor now. Other PR practitioners that are here, Brittany, Jim, and Laura, even the academic side. What is your communications strategy look like right now in terms of this virus? How are you communicating? Are you communicating anything other than the virus? Sarah, I know you're in the middle of it with PIO.
Yeah, so we definitely are in the middle of it, and I actually had to put together a graphic for our administration, and so I had to go through and count all the stuff we've been doing, and it's just kind of interesting. We've done 390 posts just to Facebook alone since we started communicating on March 5th to 44,000 followers, and we've had a reach of almost 1 million across the 10 pages we've been posting to. And it's just nonstop. Every day it's something that we're posting, and it's just trying to work through all the information we're getting from the Department of Health, from our governor, from the president, and trying to get that communicated in the best way possible to our residents, because they don't want to hear the official stuff. They want us to kind of simplify everything so it's a little easier to understand. And we're making a lot of people angry right now too, so that's fun.
Good job. Laura, just to pause the current line of conversation. Laura, did you see that question that came through from Jim? I think it might be directed toward you. Your mic's off, Laura. Laura, we can't hear you.
Okay, I'm unmuting.
There we go.
Sorry, my dog is running all around here. I'm sitting there. Okay, we have 4 concentrations, Jim. We have journalism, advertising, public relations, and broadcast, and then a basic leadership communication concentration. So right now, I think, I'm also a small business owner too, and unfortunately it's in the property management field. So our business has really gone down since the governor has put a mandate on reservations through the end of April. Now, finally, the beaches are open May 1st in Okaloosa, at least where we are in Destin. But I have reached out and done more things like highlighting people, thanking people, endorsing people, doing things on a more positive note when it comes to social media and for business too. I think that's really going to be more helpful now. Hopefully, instead of just selling, that side, and people see us and our company in a different light. Hopefully, when the economy comes back and people finally want to come back and vacation at the beach. So kind of have to think differently, kind of have to think what's been affected. Are people going to want to stay in your vacation rentals with COVID going around? So you have to think of what would make them feel safe and comfortable, that type thing.
Yeah, for sure. Kristin, how about I know you and I are both in the nonprofit world. What do things look like on your end?
Well, we have watched so many different webinars trying to figure out, make sure that whatever we're putting out is intentional. But what intentional looks like for a nonprofit, and I'm sure Josh would probably agree with this, is very different than like a for-profit business, because we depend so heavily on volunteers and donations to make things work. And so we can't really just turn that off because we're not at the office, because we still have families that need homes built. We still have communities that need cleanups done, all the stuff that still needs to happen. And we still have to have that income coming in. So events that we've had to postpone and things like that. And so we're actually getting ready. They're doing a Giving Tuesday now on May 5th. And so we're gearing up for that. And we're actually going to be pushing our Square Foot Club. And for those that don't know a little bit about how Pensacola Habitat works, but so all of our homeowners pay mortgages, just like everybody else does. They go through a program, they do sweat equity, and their mortgage is kind of tailored to what their needs are. But they pay monthly, and that goes into what we call our Fund for Humanity. And that is our biggest income for us on how we run operations, how we continue to build more houses and cover those mortgages so we don't have to wait another 25, 30 years to build another house. So with a lot of our homeowners have lost their jobs, that means that's payments that we're not getting in every month. And so we've got to come up with another way to still keep that revenue coming in so that we can keep doing what we're doing, because we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know how long this effect's going to last. So the Square Foot Club is a monthly donation, recurring donation program that we do. And so being able to get more people to do that, that's more income we can count on each month to help lessen the blow a little bit. And then another aspect we have to look at is the Restore. So I actually do the communications for Pensacola Habitat for Humanity affiliate, and I also work on the Restore, which is on 9th and Creighton. And so we have the retail side of it too, because right now our store is closed, but that's a huge revenue source for us as well, because all of the community, they donate home goods, from furniture to decor to whenever they finish their project or they've redone their lighting fixtures or doors or whatever, that all goes to the Restore. And then people in the community come and purchase those, and 100% of the profits go right back into our organization that helps us build more homes in our community or work in the community. So with that being down now for almost a month, that's a huge loss for us. So how do we get people to save their donations instead of throwing them away? Or how do we get them to still support us whenever we get back started, whenever that is? And not knowing when the win is also hard, because we can't, asking somebody to hold furniture indefinitely because we don't know when it's going to change is a hard message to push. So that's kind of, it looks different every day. It's a lot of brainstorming. I will tell you, whenever I left Dr. Weiss's class for research, he asked us about how we liked his class and everything. And I told him that what I learned is that I do not want to do research for the rest of my life. Well, guess what? I still do research every single day because you have to be able to stay on top of what's going on. So that's probably the biggest takeaway that I've taken from this crisis, is that every day is different. So,
yeah. Jim, Brittany, I'm curious if you two have any unique perspectives to offer here.
Well, this weekend I was supposed to be over in Panama City Beach with 7,500 of my closest friends at a Seabreeze Jazz Festival. And of course, I'm sitting here watching things on Zoom and all this other continued education stuff to help myself. We had to postpone the event to next year at the same weekend, but that's my concern there is still we don't know whether we're going to be available to do it at that time. We've got, had to be in contact with all our performers, got them signed up for next year, but they're going, well, what if it's not here? Well, then we'll have to change dates and go from there. On the same vein, I have another client that's up, well, they're out of Nashville, but they're doing a music festival in Gatlinburg, and it's still scheduled for August 20-something, right in there. And, that's one of those big if things, and it's a new festival to that client, so it's scary. So what we've been having to do is, well, as far as the Seabreeze folks, everybody wanted to credit their credit cards back for the amount of their money that they paid, which we've already paid our people that were going to perform, so that money is not there. So that's been an issue that we've been having to deal with. And we'll get through it. We just have to do it positively. And as far as online and social stuff, you always hear from the squeaky wheel the most. You don't hear from the people as much that are going to be here next year anyway. So we've been having to deal with those issues. And I always tell my client that, listen, you need to respond to it, even if it's a negative one, turn it into a positive, and make those people smile and make them glad that they're going to be here, even if you're giving their money back, which we have to do. So that's just some of the stuff we've been working with. I've been finding that it's kind of weird to have the whole family at home, because usually I'm the only one that's sitting here at the house. And that's been good and bad, because I've been, these are good for you because I see when my wife takes them and puts them on that she needs some quiet time. And now that I've got them on, I'm getting some quiet time. And I'll quit talking now before I get in trouble.
Brittany, go ahead.
So our office does the crisis communications for the whole school. And so normally we're used to, like hurricanes and things like that, and where it's just, a few communications back and forth with students, that, hey, this is happening, school's going to close, school's reopening kind of thing. And this whole situation has been very, very different and very eye-opening. We've sent, I don't even know how many, I know there's students on here right now. I've probably sent at least 50 notifications to students, and we're in constant communication with them through email and social media and things like that. We kind of put a pause on our normal content for pitching media, doing press releases, news stories, social media, everything for a while. We're slowly kind of getting back to where we're posting different things on Facebook that aren't coronavirus related. But for a while we were only doing that. But things have to move on and things are still happening. We just started summer enrollment, so now we're slowly pushing to sign up for summer classes, and that it's online, and the benefits of being able to do summer online and things like that. So it's been a big learning experience. Normally when we have a crisis or something, it's only our office and our environmental safety office, and then our cabinet kind of sprinkle in there a little bit. But this has been a school-wide effort, so it's a lot of moving parts, but we're slowly getting back to normal, but I don't even know what normal is anymore.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how PR in general changes in response.
Oh, absolutely.
I have to hop off. Like I said, I have another Zoom meeting to attend. But Laura, thank you for setting this up. And Kim, I'll pass it over to you to wrap things up. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you, Josh.
Bye.
Say hi to Noah for us.
Will do.
Thanks so much, Josh.
Our last Zoom meeting, we got a quick visit from his little son, Noah. So that was a lot of fun. On the school district side of things, of course, we're still trying to operate as best we can. Just everybody's at home. And luckily for us, our school district already had Chromebooks in the hands of, or assigned to everyone from 3rd grade to 12th. Some of them had not taken them home for spring break. If I could convince the governor to communicate earlier in the day, that would be a nice thing, instead of telling us at 6 o'clock on the Friday before spring break that you're not coming back for 2 weeks, which is now turned into the whole year. The timing could have been better. But what I've been trying to do is, so that people keep coming to the PR page. So we have an official page and then the PR page, and I have the PR page. So for the PR page to stay relevant, every time we have real hard news that comes out of the superintendent's office, it goes there. And then mixed in there is now featuring what people are doing. How are they reaching out to their students to tell them that they miss them? Creative lesson ideas. I just put a post up because Blab TV has created a 1-hour Teach TV show that's going to be on the weekdays. That's been on now for 2 days. And then the shows are being posted on their site, and it's videos that are being submitted by teachers and subject areas. it's interesting. I watched 2 of them this morning to get a feel for how it's going to go. And it's going to be a handy product. WSRE has offered something similar but different. And I'm really hoping we can do that with them because they have completely reorganized their daytime programming so that teachers can tap into using the shows that they have. They're learning all kinds of things by having that on as background noise and then watching Little Women in the afternoon, things like that. So really just trying to help promote the people that are going above and beyond and trying to do things for their kids. And when they get something cool from their kids, when we can share some of that about the whole thing. On here, let's open up your mics. Tell us what you're thinking, what you need from us. How can we support you as you transition into this online world? Ed, Olivia, Jaeger, Summer, y'all still there?
Hey, Summer, how's your internship going, or is it your new job? Tell us how that's going.
It's going great. They actually offered me a full-time position in December, like late December. So I've actually been working as a full-time position as their marketing specialist, and it's been really great. They've been so supportive. Our owners have just been awesome throughout this whole process because, I mean, we are a small business as well. And they are trying to keep us open, running, and everyone keeping their jobs. They've kept such a positive energy, I think, too. Marketing, obviously, has been super busy. Me and Hannah, my marketing director, we've been probably like the busiest out of the whole company because things have just like slowed down so much. But it's definitely been a learning process for me because I just graduated in December and I was working as an intern for them and then got this full-time position and then like the crisis kind of hit, you know, so it's been a learning process. I feel like this is going to be actually really good for like future job positions or anyone who's like working throughout this. We can really use this as a way like, hey, we dealt with a crisis. This is how we did it. This is how we were able to still be there for our community, even through this time. And I think Pro Health as a company has really just shown that, you know, so.
Is Pro Health getting involved at all in any of the testing?
We considered it. We tried to do it about like a month or so ago. We considered it, we did research on it, but they just kept changing as the virus grew. They kept changing their requirements, like health concern wise. And then we were trying to figure out like, how are we gonna still be able to do it like drive through and not have people scared to come in and see us for different health concerns. So it was just like too many variables and things we had to like get like by. And then there was also other things of like health requirements, and it was just kind of like a long process. So we decided what was best was that we are just going to focus on the people who need us as like primary care and for other health concerns like minor injuries, that kind of thing, because we didn't want them to feel like they couldn't come in and still see us for whatever reason. But we also started doing telemedicine as well. So we've been able to do like online phone calls even with people out of state. So that's been really cool too.
I saw an expert on many hours of MSNBC yesterday, but somebody made a comment about that telemedicine is now just medicine. You know, that you almost don't even have to say that anymore because it's the way we are getting used to operating. Even my mother-in-law, all of her pain management appointments are now going strictly to telephone calls. Just, you know, if all she needs is a prescription refill, they're doing it all by phone call, which is so much easier for someone who's 88. So it's like, can you keep doing this after we want you to come in so we can charge you for the time. And so it's kind of a shame. It's kind of easy now.
Yeah, it is really easy, but it's also kind of been like a disadvantage, I think, for Pro Health in general, just because you're not getting like the test that you need. So, I mean, it's been hard to treat people who need like the certain tests, like blood test or say a strep test, that kind of stuff that you need to be coming in person to do. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of just it's a good version for what's going on right now, but I don't think it can last, just because like we don't want to continue treating people that's not accurate. You know what I'm saying? So like, say if someone came in and they had like a sore throat, we would still need to like test them for strep, but we can't do that if it's over telemedicine. So we're just sending in the prescription for them, you know. So we are doing, like right now we have a special going, like 50% off general, like a health lab, like a blood test. So you can just get all of your health checked out. So yeah, it's so easy and good for people who like immune systems are down or people who are older. But I think we are trying to get people, if they really absolutely need to, they still are like we're still open. So
that's great. Olivia, I think you started to say something.
Oh, I was just saying, I'm going to be graduating this upcoming December, and I had an internship lined up, that because I'm more interested in kind of how you said earlier in government PR and public diplomacy and things like that. And so one of my internships, actually, because of us having to be remote, was actually canceled. And I had to talk to Ms. Kirby about this too, because I was supposed to be taking her class in the summer for it. And I was just wondering, for things like that, especially if we're about to graduate, is there anything that we could kind of look for to get ourselves out there and still network despite being remote and not being able to kind of show up and show our faces at all times?
Well, I would just say, I understand, because whenever Miss Laura Kirby can also agree, should probably also tell you this too, but when I was actually looking for my internship, I wanted to go into education PR, and that is what I went to do my internship in. But there was no job availability in education PR whenever I graduated. But those skills that I learned in education PR internship, I was still able to transfer that into the job I have now. So my point is that getting an internship, whether it's in a position that you're, even if it's not in government PR, if it's just in an internship in PR period, is still going to be beneficial no matter where you go. So don't feel like just because you did your internship in education or in nonprofit that you can't then use those skills to go into a position that you are, or the field that you are wanting to go into, because they all relate together. We may do PR a little bit different, it may look a little bit different, but the basics are the same. So getting those in that experience is going to be what's going to help you in the long run. So that would be my suggestion.
And Sarah's looking for an intern, and she's in government PR.
That's what I was going to say. You hopped on late, Olivia. You'll have to talk to Sarah after the meeting.
Yeah, we are definitely looking for an intern for the summer. We have plenty of work.
That'd be a great internship.
Mm-hmm. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and if we get a hurricane, we can let you in bed with us at the EOC.
Well, thanks, guys. This has been great. I really appreciate all your time. I don't want to keep you too long, but I know since you're recording it, we can share it with several more people and try to get some recruiting of students for the FPRA student chapters. Thanks, Ed, for being on. You can help us with that too.
No problem, Ms. Kirby.
Yeah, and y'all can always email me if you have any need for an intern.
Stop.
Hey,
Lauren, let us know. I understand you might be setting something up with the folks over in the Northwest Florida chapter. So if you do,
for a roundtable.
Let us know. Maybe we can have a couple of folks that either could or could not be here today might be able to join you for that one as well.
That'd be great. Thank you. You had a great idea there. Thanks.
To do more things with it. Yeah. And also, do you know when you're going to have your next meeting as far as talking about the student chapter? Oh, and also, Golden Image submission for the state level competition is coming up. The deadline's the middle of May. I want to say the 18th, but don't make me swear to it. But there is a whole division just for student entries, and nobody entered for local, and I don't think anybody entered over in Northwest Florida's chapter at the student level either. So that's something else to be thinking about. And they've totally redone the judging, and we've got intel now that we've had a few people actually judge. So.
Okay, great. Well, send me the information. I'll get it out. Thanks so much.
Okay. Jim, thanks for joining us. I love the name of your company. Was it Stay Calm?
Juststay.com. That's just the website.
Yeah.
I did back when we were doing domain names. Yeah, it was fun. Clark and Company is the company name.
Great. Well, thank you everybody for joining us in the interest of everyone's time. I think we'll go ahead and start ending it here. And I think my audio is trying to go out, so that's cool.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.